Good evening. I want to just have a brief look at Hakainde Hichilema's address maybe 2 days ago at Radio Chiengelo, a Catholic radio station. When he was speaking, he reminded me of the speech Obama gave before he became president. To Hakainde Hichilema, he reminds me of the promises that he gave to Zambians, on which I challenge those promises. And when I challenge those promises to say, whatever Hakainde Hichilema promises cannot come to pass because it is Vatican-founded leadership. That has nothing good to do with the improvement of Africa, but it has something to do with the natural resources. They present Christ, but behind they are wolves. So even when we receive the love through their gifts of food, whatsoever help, it's just there to blindfold us. I've always mentioned to say, if Catholic can say Africa must own its natural resources and support Ibrahim Traoré, then I'll become a Catholic. I've no excuse whatsoever. But as long as Christ is preached, but the ownership of natural resources is reserved, and that reserve is just done in favor of what is called investors, who are actually the very colonial masters. That won't stop me to believe that Catholic is a scam, because it was revealed to me in a vision. And whatever God revealed to me in a vision, it has been proven to be true. Here is what I said. When I quoted Barack Obama stating that he's seeking a new beginning between Muslim and Islam, Muslim, Islam, one and the same thing with America, and that this war, the tension that existed between them, it has a decade of its existence. And he further said this one, what is bringing in, was something very different, but he was just putting butter in the eyes of those who are listening to him. Himself, he actually killed a Muslim, Gaddafi, using NATO forces, the alliance with America. And the Democrats has kept on telling us lies. So now, what is it that I'm actually saying? I said Obama's speech was interrupted by applauses. We love you, we love you. So Hakainde's speech before election, it was full of promises. Immediately when I win by 15 hours, kwacha again. I'll stop this Meda, whatever, Pamela, the measurement of maize meal and the fish oil or salad in small plastics of 50 mils, 100 mils, that will cease. Everyone will be able to buy a bottle or 5 liter or 2.5 liter. Me, I won't allow this to happen. But today is the order of the day. It has actually increased or worsened. I heard him bragging about the improvement of electricity challenges. where I talked about now load shedding is a thing of the past, which reminds me again when he actually said, since I came into power, there's no load shedding, isn't it? Then the journalist laughed. Well, there was a load shedding. He was being used to believe, he was being misinformed to believe that there was no load shedding. Today, he says solar panels, he has increased the megabytes of whatsoever from one place to another as he was naming it. But I want to say that if ZESCO cannot supply electricity to the people, well, solar panels are things that can be vandalized by anyone, and they are not a solution. I want to say that Hakainde, stop lying to people. The only truth that God requires from you is to claim back the mines that you privatized for Chiluba. And you know the buyers, and you know how much you sold those mines. Once you do that, Hakainde Chilema, every word you are going to speak thereafter, I'll take it as truth and honest. I'll take it as a person who loves Zambians. As long as you continue telling people that the mines were heading to nothing, they were dead, now we've revamped this green sector, it's a new mine, what and what, who is warning? And you are there telling lies to say ESCOM, this is ESCO, it's for the government, whatever the other thing is for the government. If it's ESCO is for the government, why is ESCO failing to provide electricity? You don't buy water in Kariba Dam. There's no cost for you to produce electricity from Kariba Dam. But this electricity is controlled by our colonial master to create a crisis that does not exist. Even when you say that you have managed to return this electricity after 4 years and a half, you have not returned. They just want you to deceive people and win election and go back to a serious load shedding. This is not prophecy. I'm talking from experience of political lies. The prophecy is that UPND will never improve the lives of Zambians, because where you get your funding is where the problem begins. It's not about the economy. It's about the game that is being played around the economy of Zambia. So when I was talking about Barack Obama, that Barack Obama is going to fail, I don't know Barack Obama. I just had a vision. And I talked about a Joseph in Egypt, 1991. I continued, in fact, from 1990 to 1991. I continued talking about a new king who's going to rise after Joseph. I never knew about Donald Trump, and he did exactly what God revealed. So what I'm talking to you, Hakainde Chilema, and the Zambians that have faith in Hakainde Chilema, is not hatred, as he says that people hate me. It's not hatred. There's no one who hates you, Hakainde Chilema. A leader, when he does something good, you don't need to go on a radio as a president to tell us what you have achieved. The people that receive the services, they'll stand for you. They'll vote for you. Even if you are sleeping, they'll vote for you. If Hakainde Chilema, whatever you are saying is true, then sleep. You find yourself being voted for. But when you are lying, you are not going to sleep. The elections will give you a running stomach. Listen, Barack Obama, I said on page 117, in fact, this was reported, it was reported the Post Friday, June 5, 2009, regarding the speech of Obama, where he actually lied to say he's actually bringing peace between Muslims and Americans. And that fight is still there because Muslims, they're independent. They are owning the resources. America wants to control its resources, but they brand them as terrorists so that we can believe and support their lies. What did I say? I said this speech and slogan, "In a new beginning," comes after his famous campaign slogan, "The change we need and the change we can believe in." As the world is witnessing a different wave of change with a higher hope for a better united world with peace, love, and prosperity, through the rise of President Obama to world power. To be precisely, with a prophetical eye, I'm seeing a slave being elevated to a king in a foreign land. This is good news for Africa to see a modern Joseph in Egypt. Yes, Obama is the Joseph of today. But before we look at what will happen as happened to Joseph's leadership aftermath, let me say picturing President Obama in the pig pen feeding with pigs is unacceptable and unimaginable, and it is a highest crime of the land just to think of it. I likened him to prodigal son who, upon getting his share of inheritance, he thought he had gained the whole world to himself. The aftermath of that elevation, of that achievement, he found himself in the pig pen eating food meant for pigs. When all the wealth was used up, when I listened to President Obama's inaugural speech, he said, "To the poor nation, we pledge to work alongside you to make your farms flourish and let clean water flow, to nourish saved bodies and feed hungry minds. For the world has changed and we must change with it. It is the kindness to take in a stranger when he leaves break. When the leaves break. This is the source of our confidence, the knowledge that God calls on us to shape uncertain destiny." Obama's inaugural speech, 2009. Can you Google that speech? Google that speech, and when you Google that speech, then you are going to tell me exactly